Yes.
Hello, testing. Good, perfect. Is
Your
this
mic?
working? Yeah.
What? Oh, it did an update?
Okay.
Oh, well, never mind. Surprise. Surprise. What time is it? Shall we start? Jam, wait.
Are we ready? We can start. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It's the first time I ever make a panel, so don't expect much, but I will try my best. Are you all doing good, by the way? You have a good time? You slept well? Perfect. Well, this panel, basically we're going to talk a little bit about how I started streaming, how I started with everything, from my beginnings to what I'm doing now, and also the second part of the panel is going to be more directed towards you and making a couple of tips about streaming and short form content to see if it helps you if you are planning to start streaming or creating content. Hopefully I can help you a bit with my experience with how everything is going. You good, Jen?
Yes.
Perfect. He's gonna be making comments if I forget something or
I will try.
try. It's okay. We're also streaming live on Twitch, so that's also there if you wanna put something in the chat. Everyone's gonna be watching. Is the chat hyping person? Someone says hyping person. Okay, we can start. Cool animations. Well, first starting, if you don't know me, my name is Max. I'm a Twitch streamer. I make also silly videos and skits. Mostly, I don't know if you've seen them online, just most of the time doing stuff with him. Everything that comes into my mind, I put it into a video. If it's funny or I think people are going to enjoy it, we do it. And then the last, as I cook or I try cooking, I think I got way better with just streaming and trying new recipes. I think I became decent, but if you've seen the streams, something goes wrong all the time. Of course, something's gonna happen. I'm just
Not going on yet.
Yeah. I mean, streaming with a person, it's kind of complicated. You don't see too much, but it goes well. You're the one who tests the food, so do you think it's good most of the time? Okay, that's enough for me. And here we have some little quick facts about myself, if you didn't know, or more personal stuff. I was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, the main city, and around 1 year ago, I moved to Germany, so now I'm living here with him. Another fact is, I really love singing. We actually have a little concert that I'm going to be participating. It's going to be very pretty. It's going to be at 18:30, Room 1, if you want to go check. There's a lot of talented people, way more talented than me. I'm just singing. They do the orchestra thing, and they are the talented ones. So I try to follow. Then maybe it's obvious, but I absolutely love Pokemon. I think Pokemon was the reason I got brought into the fandom, mostly through art, and then art in certain websites then led me to the furry fandom. We're not going to discuss which kind of art, but yeah, it was just art. Then, more personal, I studied economics and marketing in the university. I graduated around 2 years ago. I think it helped me with streaming, not as much as you think, because we learned other stuff, but it's still useful. A couple of things I've learned, I could put it into the stream. It was always good. And then, the last one, I think it's funny, because I've always been extremely shy. Some people, when they watch the streams, expect that the person, like then in real life, is like super outgoing, they talk to everyone, they're really too party all the time, organize everything. I'm the complete opposite. I am extremely shy. I am dying right now here doing the panel. I'm trying my best, but, but yes, I'm shy. So we're gonna see later with the tips, don't let that stop you. If you want to create content, being shy doesn't have to be a barrier. You can still do a lot of things and it's gonna be great. Don't worry. If I could overcome it, I'm sure you can. Right, Jen? Good. Okay, now a little bit of how everything started. I think I joined the fandom around 6 years ago, as I mentioned, through Pokemon and other art, watching YouTube videos. I thought it was cool. I decided to join a Discord server, and I was like, okay, people here are actually really nice. Why not stay? And since that moment, I joined the fandom, and it was extremely fun, a super nice adventure. And more talking about content in general, I started during the pandemic. I think then I was studying at university and also having a part-time job. And I didn't have too much free time, but the free time I had, I couldn't do anything. Because I don't know how it was in your countries, but in Argentina, we could not go anywhere. For a year, not even go outside, buy the groceries. We had to be inside, no content, no doing anything. So my free time was like, okay, what do I do? I spent it watching furry streamers. I don't know what, basically I watched Neon back then, and it was super fun. So one day I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to set up a camera, start streaming. I always liked making content. I remember when I was little, I used to make Facebook games, tutorials, and hacks. I just recorded my screen with a super shitty phone, and in Word, like the typing program, I used to write the text of what I wanted to say to people because I was too shy to speak. So I write the text on Word and then record the camera through the line. And that's how I started. Very, very silly stuff. But those were the beginnings. And then, when I started streaming, the first streams, as we're gonna see later with the tips, I live in Argentina, so accessing technology was super hard. It was super hard. Buying a camera, buying a microphone, everything was super expensive, impossible. So the first streams were just my face, playing Rocket League, because it was the only game my PC could handle. And that, I just put on my face, put the webcam, put the game in the background, and try to talk with no one. Because when you start on Twitch, I don't know if you try, there is no one in the chat. You have like one person. But hey, it was still fun. It was still fun. I have a couple of tips later on how to deal with that, but it was fun. And then after a while, I got a 3D model because I found out that streaming with your face is extremely annoying. I was very self-conscious, so every time I wanted to stream, I would go to the bathroom and try to do my hair, look great for the stream, just because I knew people were gonna see me, even if no one was gonna see me because I had like 5 viewers. But I was still self-conscious. I was, I wanted to look good for the camera. So that was annoying, and when I realized that I could use a 3D model and get a cheap base online, I went with that. And it was way better. It was way better. And eventually, I got my first version and started streaming with that, and that was also super pretty. Then, advancing a little bit on how I was later when I moved. A little tip there, yes. When I started streaming, I was still sharing my room with my sister. So they can imagine like me speaking English, because we don't speak English in Argentina, we speak Spanish. So everyone was looking at me weird, and I was shy. Everything was bad. My sister would always complain that I screamed. My parents were also there. It was bad. Like the start, I don't know how I made it out of there, because it was definitely very sketchy and putting things together with whatever I had. But it worked. And then eventually I moved to Germany with Jen, and that was way better, because we had the entire house for ourselves, so we could do basically whatever we want. That's what I decided to start doing way more versus content, focus on cooking and just basically going around the house. And it's also what we're going to talk about part of adapting in your journey. Maybe you start with something, but then something happens in your life, and you discover things that you enjoy more. That is perfectly fine. Then you just switch your content and things you like doing more. That's perfectly fine. And then, we started doing way more clips and content in first, posting on social media to try to advertise the streams a little bit more. And now we're here. I'm doing cooking streams. We stream together a couple of times. We do silly videos online. And from the beginning of streaming in my room with my sister to here and living in my own house and doing cooking streams, it was definitely a big journey, a very big change. And this is the part more for you that I prepared, and it's what if you want to start making content. These are a couple of tips. You're gonna see it kind of goes into like a storyline. So when you start to then at the end, and when you're ready to do other things, I'll try to do it that way. And hopefully it helps you to maybe there are some things that you knew, or maybe there are some things that you don't know, and you can put it into your content. First is you just gotta do it. This is the starting step, which is probably the hardest for everyone. Maybe you want to do content, maybe you see other creators that make things that you really enjoy, and you wonder yourself, hey, you know what, I would really like to also start making content. But I don't know, maybe I'm not perfect, or it's gonna look a little bit bad, right? Well, that's the hardest part. It's like doing anything in life. If you gotta do your job or like study for an exam, it always happened to me that starting was the hard part, but then once you are doing something, you enter in that kind of flow where everything seems to be working and you just go with it. That's the key here, entering in that flow that allows you to start creating and stop worrying about you being perfect, everything having to look nice. The important thing is just starting, experiencing and trying new things, even if you don't know very well what you're gonna make. Starting already gives you that experience and knowledge of maybe discovering new things that you can do and finding new hobbies or things that you want to enjoy. So that's the key for the first part. Don't overthink it. It's not going to be perfect, of course. It's that your first videos, your first streams, anything you do, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to look back on them and be like, wow, this is what I did at the beginning. Crazy. That happens to me. But the important thing to remember is that you're going to be growing. It's going to be growing. You're going to look, hey, I started from here and look where I am now. That's the important thing. Just starting. So that's a little example of, that is one of my first streams. I don't know, I think it was a reaction from when someone gifted 2 subs or something. It was crazy for me because it was the first time someone was ever gifting subs. So the second image where I was cooking. And I don't know how I ended in that post, but somehow we ended in that post, and that explains how much the content changed from Rocket League with my face to cooking streams in family outfits. The next tip is something that was very important for me, was that what happens if you have no money? Because when you start, it can happen that maybe you don't have a huge budget to stream, and that is always super hard, because you may discourage yourself and be like, nah, there's no way I can catch up to like big streamers with insane setups, insane microphones, insane everything. But no, that's not true. You don't need to let that discourage you. I've also started with super very little elements, like a shitty camera. I think I have my phone camera, then a CD headphone microphone. And with that, I managed to start streaming. Creativity goes a long way when you don't have too much money, right? So you can start from scratch and then find little things and tutorials. For example, if you don't have a good camera, it's very important that you can use your phone back camera. That's going to be better than whatever webcam you can buy, and you probably already have a phone with a decent back camera. Then for audio, it doesn't matter the microphone you have. There's a lot of tutorials online where you can download plugins, and then those plugins used for EQing your microphone. With those, you can make any microphone sound at least a little bit decent for people to enjoy the stream and not leave. And also, if you maybe don't have a super insane NASA PC, you can stream more chill games, more normal content. People also enjoy doing that. People on Twitch go there to see you. Unless you do competitive gaming or something, but if you do that, you probably have a good PC. It's gonna be okay, whatever game you play, as long as you were there, as long as you talk to the people and interact with the chat and are interesting. As I said, as long as you're creative and motivated to start streaming and doing whatever you want to do, you are going to find a way. Don't let money be an issue that worries you when you start streaming, because there are ways. And also to mention on the other side, if you, I don't know your situation, but if you maybe have a lot of money, you have a bigger budget, don't start buying everything insane from the beginning. Just start with the basic stuff you need, and then in the future, if you see that's working, you can escalate maybe. But starting with the most insane equipment is not always necessary. Maybe you feel that later because like, oh, I spend a lot of money on something, and then now I'm getting forced to stream to make that worth it. Don't start cheap and small. Then there's gonna be time to upgrade anything you have. And then don't get discouraged tips. It takes time and consistency to build a stream. This is not like one day you decide to stream and then the next day you become, I don't know, super popular, 10 million viewers and everyone's gonna watch you. This is a process and it's gonna take time, but it's okay that it's a process because you are gonna enjoy the little process of creating content. And this is a couple of don'ts that I planned, that I thought about. First of all, don't compare to others. Don't compare to others. You're never going to win against your brain fighting to other people because you're always going to find someone who you think is better than you in any way, and that does not really work. It won't let you grow. That happens to me all the time. I put it here, and I say that don't do it. I do it all the time. It always happens that maybe you do a stream, and then you see someone who has a couple more viewers than you, and it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm not as entertaining. No. Everyone is at a different step of their journey, and you don't need to compare with them because you will never find yourself exactly at the same point as you are. And even if they are, there is always going to be a factor that differentiates them from you. So don't be discouraged. Don't compare yourself to others. You can use them to learn. That's important, learning from others. But not to compare and get discouraged because of it. You're going to get there. You focus on yourself, and if you're really motivated, you can do what you propose yourself to do. Then, another important thing, don't blame yourself all the time. It's not always your fault. Sometimes it's the platform's fault. You have to, this is like always like that. You always need a little bit of luck with creating content. You can make insane videos, something you're really proud of, and that day the platform doesn't want to promote it or do well with it, and it's not going to do well with it. I put an example here. The exact same video on TikTok, 32K, on YouTube, 576K. Why? No reason. It's the exact same video. That's why it's also a very good tip, post in every platform. Don't stick to one platform only because, I don't know why, don't ask me why algorithms, audience, whatever, they work different. And something that works very bad on one can work very well on the other for no reason. So publish everywhere. You usually have a video already, why not just post it everywhere? And then the last one is don't be afraid of failure. It's you need to learn from it. That's very cliche. You probably heard it everywhere, don't be afraid of failure. But it's true, especially with content creating, because you don't have a guide of exact guide on how to do it. There's no way to really study. You can learn tricks, you can learn from others, but this is a trial and error. You're gonna have to try stuff, you're gonna have to fail, and then from the fail you will learn how to do things better, and always, of course, being patient and taking care of what you do and appreciating every single part of the step. Do not get discouraged from failure, just learn from it. And then I put a couple of things that this is going to happen to you. These are things and steps that will happen on your journey. First of all, I got no idea what to do. That happens all the time. You're going to find yourself one day super creative. You're going to have 10 ideas. Everything's going to be perfect. You're going to feel so motivated to do everything. And then the other, you will not have anything. You'll be like, I am the least creative person in the world. Nothing is happening, and that's okay. That happens to everyone. And my little tip for that is first, when you have 10 ideas, you probably that day will not be able to do those 10 ideas. So write them down. I have a little notebook in my phone, and every time I get an idea, I just write it down for later, for the moment when I don't have a single idea and I don't know what to do. And when that happens, and you don't even have anything noted down, it's important to just take a break, go do something else. I always tell the general who says to me, go do whatever, something else, because when you least think about something to do is when all the ideas pop. Because you can be walking on the street and just like, oh, you know what, we can do this video now. No, just they randomly pops in your head. That is very important. The least you think about something, the more ideas will come from it. Then, this also happens, like everyone is literally better than me. This is related to the comparing yourself to other people. There are gonna be times where you think that everyone just knows how to do the stuff except you. And if you look at all the street, everyone is doing crazy stuff, everyone has the perfect humor, everyone knows what to upload. No, that's not true. Everyone just thinks you just see that because, well, it's the one that's popping up at the moment. But no, you're not a failure. Don't get discouraged. Perhaps you in the future will be that one person that someone looks up to and say, oh, they are doing way better. I'm sure that's going to happen. So no, that will happen to you. It's important to get out of that mentality and focus on yourself. Be proud of what you're doing. Look at the past. Look at the things that worked and be proud of them. And then I could put in insane work into something. Like you decide to record a video, you have like 7 angles, you went to a very good place, and you planned it for weeks to do that stream or that piece of content, and then no one watches it. Why? No idea. Maybe the algorithm decides that they don't want to show it that day, or maybe it's too complicated for people to understand and they don't enjoy it. And then you post a picture of you taking a bath, with fursuit and showing your chest a little bit, and it gets 1 million views. That happens. That's super common. But that you don't need to let that discourage you, because that is important that happens. Then you're gonna see that it's very important to have the two, like a very viral content that you whatever scene you think it is, you think it's gonna grow, and then your content, like things you put effort into. Because the one you put effort into is the one that is going to retain people, and they're going to associate that with you, because that's you. The other thing is to make people discover you, but the special content that you take time to, and it's special, that's going to make people remember you and stay for what you do and be there for you. And the last one is, wait, are you doing this just wanting to quit? Yes, we all go through that. Yeah, but I see this as life itself. Life is just like ups and downs. There are waves where everything is going great, and then times where everything is going wrong. Like you see, you cannot catch a break, and everything at one time just goes bad. And exactly the streaming. You're gonna have times where you're in the low, and for some reason nothing works. Whatever you do is not enough apparently for people. But it's important to get out of that, and remember that you also have ups, and that you're gonna get out of those lows, because it's just part of life. It's just how it works. Sometimes you're doing very good, sometimes you're doing very bad. And the very bad, you need to remember to take it easy. Check your content, maybe watch other streams to learn, and maybe think of things you want to change. Maybe there's something that you're doing that you're not really enjoying anymore. And that's in the lows, and you can take it easy, take a break, look at what you're doing, and see what you can change, what you can improve, what you can do different. But not desperate and wanting to throw all the work you did. Take it easy, check what you do, check what you can improve, and just keep doing it. Here, we have a couple of my most important tips. This is a bit more technical stuff that I thought would be very useful if you're starting or if you're already creating content. I separated it in two, of course, separated in streaming, and I separated it in short form content or maybe little TV videos, because of course the tips for streaming are not the same as a short form content. Is a completely different world, but they go together. We're going to see that they go together. But let's start first with streaming. My first tip that is key is post clips of yourself, because Twitch discoverability is awful. Like, there is no way people just find you for existing there. It does not work. It doesn't have very good discoverability systems. So if you have 1 or 2 viewers and you don't do anything else outside the platform, you will probably stay at 1 or 2 viewers, unfortunately. It sucks, it's like that. But why it's very important to post your clips from your streams, just grab little pieces that you think that are interesting or identify you the most, and put them on a very simple editing program, like, I don't know, it's just CapCut because it's the one I use the most for easy clips. You put subtitles on it, you don't even need to be a master at editing. If you don't know anything, with a 5-minute YouTube tutorial, you can make very funny clips for you to post and people discover you. You make the silly clips, you put subtitles on it, you do a little crops, so you keep that engagement going, so it's fast, if people have no attention span, so you gotta make it fast and and quick so people catch it. And that's really gonna help a lot because you're gonna see that and then you're gonna put a little message on the back being like, oh yes, I also stream or in your bio or whatever. I also stream on Twitch. If you wanna see the full things, you can go there. That's very important. I would suggest doing that because it's key. If you use Twitch alone, it's unfortunately not gonna work. Then audio first. This is when we think about the filters and EQ. Just think about it like this: a video. If a video has bad quality, you can ignore the bad quality. You can just be like, okay, you know what? It might not look that good, but it doesn't bother me. But our audio you cannot ignore. If you stay in a stream where the audio sucks, where it's not very crunchy or where the music is too loud, you're gonna leave straight away because you cannot stand that for too long. It's gonna be super annoying to you. The video you can just start. So if you start streaming, be sure the first thing you have to take care of is the audio, which is not that hard. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube telling you which plugins to use, which all of them are mostly free. You have some paid ones, but I will go for the free ones first, because they do basically the same. If you do it correctly, and test it with a friend or something to make sure it does sound good and it sounds nice. Because that is probably what kills the stream straight away for someone, right? Video, people can pass it through, but audio, unfortunately, you cannot ignore that. Then another little tip, important, very important, is yapping all the time. You gotta yap on stream all the time and not be alone. Because I understand that at the beginning of the stream, you maybe not have a lot of viewers, you maybe not have a lot of people interacting in the chat at the same time. So it's always gonna be fine to just talk about nothing out of nowhere. So that's why maybe it's important to have a friend on Discord, maybe, or whoever to talk to you on stream. And then when someone pops up in the chat, you can include them to the conversation. But think about it like, if you don't yap all the time, the person who joins the stream for the first time and discovers you, is gonna be like, okay, there is silence, there is nothing going on, the attention span is low, so they're just gonna jump into the next stream. But if you're constantly talking with friends, you're gonna be like, oh, they're talking, there's a conversation, I'm gonna comment something in the chat, and maybe, I don't know, interact and form a conversation, and that viewer can stay with you, and I'm telling you, there's viewers that even from that first day will stay with you forever, and you'll find beautiful relationships and start building that community, and it's gonna be great. And the last thing for streaming is studying others. Of course, it's not copying others, but studying others. Like, watch other people stream, watch what they do, watch how they interact with the audience, the kind of filters, the kind of little overlays they use to take inspiration and use it on your stream. Because those people probably that you're watching have way more experience and they already figured things out that you didn't. That's why it's very important to spend a little bit of your time sitting, watching the streams, even talking with them and interacting. Because I tell you that the Twitch furry community, from what I'm saying, is very, very nice. They're always willing to help. So just joining the stream, talking to them, interacting with the streamer is very important. Don't spam, of course, in their chat, being like, oh yeah, I also stream. Maybe it's, I don't know, a little bit rude. It depends how you do it, of course. But try to take care of that. Let them know everyone is super welcoming and willing to help. Yes, learn from others, watch streams from others, take things that you can implement in your stream, and talk to them, interact with them, form that community around. Because I'm sure, I am 100% sure everyone is willing to help the others with whatever they need. And now we have short form content tips, which is very different, but they go together. First of all, as we mentioned before, start fast. The first 3 seconds of the video, unfortunately, need to be everything. You need to put everything on those 3 first seconds, because just think about yourself even, when you're scrolling through short form content, if the video doesn't catch you, like the first few seconds, you scroll to the next one. There's very, very, very low attention span. So you want to make sure that on the first part, for example, there's a big zoom, a big noise or something, and you tell me what the video is about. If it's a clip, maybe you can put like a snapshot, like a foreshadowing of the funny part of the stream, or how it builds up, all the first 3 seconds, because you want to catch people. That's the objective. You always have to think of, you can make a very nice short, maybe explaining a story or something that is super well edited, but in the first 3 seconds, you didn't catch the person, you're not going to see the rest, unfortunately. It sucks, but you gotta be very catchy on those 3 first seconds. Then, differentiating yourself. There's something, I'm sure, that makes you unique when you create content, something that differentiates you, that makes you different from the rest. That thing you need to amplify. You need to make people remember you for that one thing. I don't know, every streamer, if you think about it, or every content creator that you might know, or you know, has that one thing that, oh, you mentioned something and you think of them. That is very important to create, because that's going to make people remember you for that one thing you are. It is very important. Find it. Maybe you don't even know it yourself, but through creating content and learning, you will find that thing that maybe people always make fun of you for, or whatever, and amplify that. Try to work on that and try to follow and create you behind that part. This is what we talked before, the next one, is the mixing between viral and unique. Thinking about it like a hamburger, I think that's even how it's officially called. You gotta make the very viral content be the bread of the hamburger, because that's what everyone's going to see. Everyone sees that, and it's gonna be attracted to them. So they're like, okay, this looks very nice, I like this, make silly content, the trending one. That's probably not gonna be the one you feel the most proud of, because making a silly video of you dance or whatever, it's not gonna be what you mostly are, but you need it so people discover you and find who you are. And then, into that little hamburger, you got the meat, I would say, whatever you have inside, and that's the part that defines you. That's the part of who you are, the unique content, the thing that shows the people, hey, this is who I am, and it's extremely important, because that's what's going to make the people stay on your stream and remind you for something. Because you always go like the viral content, yes, maybe you get a lot of views sometimes, but then those people are not going to stay for you. They're just going to leave and jump onto the next one. But if you mix that with more unique and special content for you, then it's going to be the perfect hamburger mix that puts everything together. That's going to be very important. And at the end, something that I would say helped me the most, and the way I enjoy doing the streams, is interacting with people. Because it's not only interesting and nice and useful to form a community, but also you're going to see that it's super beautiful. Having people that you look at the chat or you look at the comments and there's that 2, 3, 4 people, or 10, I don't know, that always watch your content, and you build that kind of little family with them. You have like your inside jokes, everything is perfect. That's very important to do. But for that, you need to interact with people. Be present on streams, for example, be present in the chat, read their messages, comment on them. Then on the short form, like here, maybe interact with the comments, make sure the audience participates. I don't know, to see Q&As on stories or whatever works for you. That is very important, forming and creating that little community, because I'm telling you, the payoff at the end is great. You're gonna feel super more included, you're gonna feel more in contact with your viewers, and that's great, that's great. I absolutely love that, and it's beautiful. You should definitely try it. Thank you. Oh my god. Well, just gonna close everything. This was probably the best decision I ever made. Like starting creating content. You can imagine the amount of doors it opened, the amount of people I've met, like to just come and approach and say like, hey, I watch your content, I watch your streams. That means the world to me. It's such a beautiful experience, and say like, hey, maybe I was sitting down one day and I put your stream in the background and you know, cheer me up or you help me study for an exam. That hearing that is seriously beautiful. Not only that, it also helped me for things like this, like standing here and talking. You made me way less shy. A couple of years back, before starting streaming, I would never imagine like standing in front of people and just talking in the stage. There's no way. So streaming and content creating helped a lot with that. Not only because I had to talk on a camera, but because when I went to conventions, I had to talk with people that knew the streams. And it helped me way more to be way more outgoing and way less shy. Also, having the chance to participate in activities like this, or then later singing with an orchestra, it opened so many doors, and it made me make a lot of memories that I will never forget. And I'm encouraging you to try to do it, because it's beautiful. It's a long journey, but it's important that you enjoy that journey and take your time to experience it. And these things will come, and it's going to be very, very important that you will always remember them. And well, that was it. If you have any questions, please make sure to raise your hand and ask. I have no problem. If not, if you're too shy, later I will still be here. You can approach and ask me personally. So no worries if you're too shy to speak. And yes, there.
Happy Pride Month.
Oh, yes, very important. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Have a beautiful month. Of course, always enjoy it, always be proud of who you are, not only this month, but this month, show it to everyone. That's important. So yes, if nobody else has questions, of course, I'm going to be here after the panel. You can come. I also made a couple of pins. I don't know how cringe that is that I made pins for the panel, but they just say thank you. You can take one and take it for yourself as a little token of participating on the first panel I made. So if you want to take it, feel free. I also got stickers. You also have a couple of things there, and well. That was it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate you all. Thank you, everyone. Trent, any words?
Like honestly, that's really what he's talking about. Like I see it every day, and like points like don't get discouraged is really important. Like I see it for him. Like it always happens like to everyone, and it's really important to get up. And that you know it's like an up and a down in this kind of journey, and it's really cool to see from my point of perspective, and it's really cool. So thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone for being here. Now we're going to be here. The panel we can consider it over, but if you want to come take a picture, grab the little pins, grab everything, you're more than welcome to. Again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. You're the best. Thank you.
Very good.